Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn on the topic that is types of sentences. Simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. Before understanding the examples of simple, compound, and complex sentence, let us understand the definition. What is a simple sentence? What is a compound sentence? And what is a complex sentence? Simple sentence. A simple sentence consists of only one clause. It contains a subject and a verb. It is known as a simple sentence. Compound sentence. A compound sentence consists of two or more independent clauses. It is known as a compound sentence. Complex sentence. A complex sentence has at least one independent clause plus at least one dependent clause. It is known as a complex sentence. If you cannot understand the concept of these three definitions, on the next slides there are some examples through which you can understand what is a clause, what is an independent clause, and what is a dependent clause. Simple sentence. What is a simple sentence? A simple sentence has a subject and a verb in a sentence is known as a simple sentence. Look at the example. I am a teacher. Here the subject is I and the verb is am. Example number 2. She took a cab to the airport. Here she is the subject and took is the verb. Example number 3. We are having pizza for dinner tonight. Here the subject is we and the verb is are having. Simple sentence is also called an independent clause. What is an independent clause? Which is a complete sentence. Which is a complete sentence in which there will be one subject and a verb is known as an independent clause or a simple sentence. Whatever you want you can say, simple sentence or an independent clause. It is one and the same. Another name of simple sentence is known as or is called as an independent clause. Compound sentence. A compound sentence has two or sometimes more than two independent clauses. Look at the example. I am a teacher. My wife is a lawyer. I am a teacher. That is a sentence. My wife is a lawyer. That is again a new sentence. This compound sentence has more than two or sometimes two independent clauses. I am a teacher. That is an independent clause. That sentence has nothing to relate with my wife is a lawyer. My wife is a lawyer is again an independent clause. Neither each of the sentence requires the other. This type of sentence is known as an independent clause. Look at the example carefully. What we have here is two separate independent clauses or simple sentences. The problem with this sentence is it sounds choppy and disconnected when we say like that. Instead, we can combine like this. I am a teacher and my wife is a lawyer. I'm repeating it again. I am a teacher and my wife is a lawyer. This sounds much better. Now we have one compound sentence with two independent clauses connected with the conjunction and. Few more examples. She tried to lift the suitcase. The suitcase was too heavy. We can combine the clauses using but. Look at the answer. She tried to lift the suitcase, but it was too heavy. Make a note. Notice that we have the word it in the second part. It is a pronoun. I'm repeating it again. It is a pronoun that just refers to the suitcase. It makes the sentence sounds better by avoiding repetition. Few more examples of compound sentence. He didn't have enough cash. He paid by credit card. We can connect this clause by using so. He didn't have enough cash, so he paid by credit card. Two independent clauses. He didn't have enough cash. There's a full stop over there. And he paid my credit card. So that is the second sentence. Both the sentences are independent sentences that neither requires the help of each other. We can connect this clause by using so. And when we connect by these clauses, it becomes a compound sentence. Look at the answer again. He didn't have enough cash, so he paid by credit card. Example number 2. We can take the bus to the museum. Full stop. We can just walk there. Look at the answer. What we see here is two options, two different ways to get to the museum. We can connect this using or. Look at the answer. We can take a bus to the museum or we can just walk there. Some important notes to be taken care or to be written down by the students for understanding the types of sentences. Now the connecting words that you see in the example, that is and, but, so, or, etc. These words are called coordinating conjunctions. It just means these are the connecting words that connect two independent clauses. There is another important note here. You see in all of the examples, when we connect two independent clauses, we put a comma after the first clause. I'm repeating it again. We put a comma after the first clause. This is the proper form. You write the first independent clause. I'm repeating it again. You write the first independent clause, then you put a comma after it. You write the conjunction and then you write the second clause. Remember these notes so it would be easy for you to change the type of sentence from simple to compound. Combine each set of simple sentence into compound sentence. I have given 5 practice questions. You can see 5 questions below. Each one I want you to combine a simple sentence into one compound sentence using the coordinating conjunctions, that is and, but, or and so, to make a compound sentence. Stop the video, try the exercise and then play the video again to check your answers. Look at the answers. Answer number 1. She dropped her phone on the floor and it broke. Answer number 2. I'm not very hungry, so I'll just have an orange juice. Answer number 3. You should study harder or you will fail in the exam. Answer number 4. We would like to buy a car, but we can't afford one right now. Answer number 5. I told my roommate to turn down the TV, but he didn't. So I got up and left. There's one important note in answer number 5. Answer number 5 is a little tricky there, and there are 3 independent clauses. But we can connect them using the coordinating conjunction but and so. I hope the concept of simple and compound sentence is clear. Complex sentence. What is a complex sentence? Look at the example. When I got home from work yesterday. When I got from work yesterday. When I got home from work yesterday. Here is a clause first. Looking at the sentence, it has a subject I and a verb got. But this sentence, when I got home from work yesterday, there is something missing in the sentence. When we read this sentence, we find the sentence is not complete. The clause is not a complete sentence because the remaining part is missing. Because when I say, when I got home from work yesterday, you will ask, okay, what did you do? So from this sentence, we can say that this is not an independent clause. So this type of clause is known as an dependent clause. Please refer to the definition of complex sentence where there is one dependent clause and where there is one independent clause. That is known as a complex sentence. To make a complete sentence, you need to add an independent clause. Look at the example again. When I got home from work yesterday, I watched TV for an hour. This is known as a complex sentence, where you find one dependent clause and where you find one independent clause. When I got home from work yesterday, this particular dependent clause is relying on I watched TV for an hour. So when I got home from work yesterday becomes the dependent clause and I watched TV for an hour, that becomes an independent clause. Why that is an independent clause? Because let's say if I'll say I watched TV for an hour, that makes a complete sentence. So that is known as an independent clause. Why independent clause? Because it does not require the remaining part of the sentence. That is, when I got from work yesterday. So again, when I got home from work yesterday, that is a dependent clause, and I watched TV for an hour, that is an independent clause. And when this kind of sentence or example has been given, it is known as a complex sentence. When I got home from work yesterday, I watched TV for an hour. Dependent clause and independent clause. So now you see it is a complete sentence. One independent clause and a dependent clause. This type of sentence is known as a complex sentence. Here are a few more examples. Stop the video and identify the independent clause and the dependent clause, and then you can see and continue with the next video. Example number 2. I love to travel because I get to meet a lot of interesting people. Example number 3. Even though the exams was quite difficult, all the students passed. Example number 4. Let me know if you need any help. Example number 5. You can't go out and play until you have finished your homework. Look at the answers. I love to travel because I get to meet a lot of interesting people. I love to travel. That is a complete sentence. It does not require the remaining part of the sentence. So I love to travel is an independent clause because I get to meet a lot of interesting people. That is a dependent clause. In complex sentence, please make a note. In complex sentence, you can put clause first or last. That's not a problem. In example number 1, the dependent clause came first. Example number 2. Even though the exam was quite difficult, all the students passed. Even though the exam was quite difficult, there is something missing. So this type of sentence will become an independent clause. And all the students passed will be called as an independent clause. All the students passed. That makes a complete sentence. So that is an independent sentence, or we can say an independent clause. Look at the third example. Let me know if you need any help. Let me know. That is an independent clause. If you need any help, that is a dependent clause. Next example. You can't go out and play until you have finished your homework. You can't go out and play. That makes a complete sentence. So that is an independent clause. Until you have finished your homework. That is a dependent clause. I hope from this below examples you have understood what is a dependent clause and what is an independent clause. Please make some important notes. Just remember that to decide whether the clause is dependent or independent, you ask the question. I'm repeating it again. You ask the question, can this clause be a complete sentence of its own? You have to ask the question. When you ask the question, and if you feel that the sentence is not complete, then it is a dependent clause. But if you feel that the sentence is complete, then it is an independent clause. Please make a very important note. Now you see in all of these examples, you see that the dependent clause starts with a linking word. I repeat it again. There is a very important note. Please make a note. Dependent clause starts with a linking word like when, because, even though, if, and until. These words are conjunctions, but they are called subordinating conjunctions. They are called subordinating conjunctions. If you remember previously, we connected through coordinating conjunctions in compound sentence. In complex sentence, we connect the words using the conjunctions. They are called subordinating conjunctions. Here, we are using subordinating conjunctions. There is one important note that I want you to notice over here. That is the use of commas. In sentence 1 and 3, you see that there is a comma. But in 2, 4, and 5, there is no comma. Because in 1 and 3, the dependent clause comes first. If the dependent clause comes first, we put a comma after it, and then we write the independent clause. But in 2, 4, and 5, an independent clause comes first. If that's the case, we don't put a comma after it. You can check the slides previously, so the concept of sentence 1 and 3 and 2, 4, and 5 will be clear. Okay, there is one important concept related to complex sentence that is known as the relative clause. There is another type of clause that you need to know about, that is a relative clause. That concept is related to a complex sentence. A relative clause uses a relative pronoun like who, that, which, etc. For example, let us say, I know a guy who plays a guitar in a rock band. This sentence is actually a combination of two sentences. I know a guy and he plays a guitar in a rock band. Both of them are simple sentences, and we can combine them using the relative pronoun who. So, who plays guitar in a rock band is a relative clause that gives information about the guy. It tells you who that guy is. But that clause is not a complete sentence, so it is a dependent clause. I'm repeating it again. We can combine them using a relative pronoun who. I know a guy who plays guitar in a rock band. Who? is a relative pronoun. Two independent sentences have been given. I know a guy and he plays a guitar in a rock band. So we can combine them using a relative pronoun who. Who plays a guitar in a rock band is a relative clause that gives information about the guy. It tells who that guy is. But still, the sentence is not a complete sentence. So it is a dependent clause. Again, I'm repeating, it is an dependent clause. Stop the video, try the exercise, and then play the video to see the answers. Here, I have combined each set of simple sentences into a complex sentence. Use the words given in the brackets. People know fast food is bad for their health. Still, people eat a lot of fast food nowadays. You can use even though. Second question, you cannot borrow any books from the library if you don't have a membership. You can use unless. Third, she couldn't log into her Gmail account. The reason for this was that she had forgotten her password. You can use because. Harvey was a vegetarian. Then he married Susie and he stopped being a vegetarian. You can use until. Fifth, a man lives in that house. That man is the billionaire. You can use who. And the last one, some video games contain violence. Children shouldn't be allowed to play these games. You can use which or that. I request the students to stop the video and try the exercise by yourself. You can again play the video to check the answers. Look at the answers. People eat a lot of fast food nowadays even though they know it's bad for their health. Second, you cannot borrow any books from the library unless you have a membership. She couldn't log in into her Gmail account because she had forgotten her password. Harvey was vegetarian until she married Susie. The man who lives in that house is a millionaire. Children should not be allowed to play video games that contain violence. The end part. Before we close the topic, I'm giving you some easy ways to learn subordinating conjunctions and coordinating conjunctions so that you can remember it easily. You can remember the coordinating conjunctions as fanboys. Here F stands for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so. Subordinating conjunctions. After, although, as far as if, even though, every time, if, in, order, that, since, when, because, until, then, whereas, till, etc. Remember students, whenever you speak or write, whether it's an email, story, essay, or reports, make sure you choose the best kind of sentences and helps your writing smoothly. I hope the concept of simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence is clear. Happy learning. Thank you.